just added a little intro in here. Learning how to use the studio, learning to put the stuff in right. Man, third video of the day. I'm in the studio today, red hot. This is the third. I did the AI, and what AI is doing that we're not being told. And of course, that was what we let off today with when we went into the apocalypse of Adam and the Nag hammadi. And now we're doing the Pistis of Sophia. We're getting ready to do that right now. So we're going to get into that book. I'm not sure because I told you what I'm doing with you. Some of these I've read in the past, not all of them. If it wasn't in my book, then I wouldn't know it. Because some is. The one I really read the most was, I think, the Revelation of Peter, and definitely the Secret Book of John in the past. Did a little video on it, but it just unfolded way more this time for me. But this is the Pistis. I told you, can get away from Sophia and that wisdom and that feminine aspect connection. Because this book, which we're going to do, there's a lot to this book from it appears, but it looks like the chapters are long. I don't know how much I'll do, because if that many chapters, this is a long book. I thought it was fractured. Let me look this up real quick for you. You see, real quick. Don't want to kill you guys, because I thought it was in Not All of It's Found. How many? I thought Not All of It's Found, but I'm not sure when I looked at it. It's very long. Wow. Let me just make sure this 400. The book is 460. I want to know how many chapters in the book. Wow, 148 chapters. So wow, I wonder how long they are. Like I said, so we're gonna do what we're gonna do. If this is super, we'll play it by spirit leading. This book's here because we also got the Sophia of Jesus Christ, or Christ. I may shovel back and forth between them. I don't know. I'll be led, but we're starting with that one today. But I just wanted to say, man, thank you guys for that. The increased watches, me learning how to do this technology and playing with a lot of the stuff I'm playing with. Definitely, I've been on it with the. I definitely love Riverside. This right here, this platform, dynamite to me. Riverside is a cat's meow to me. It's very much been what I definitely liked it. It's pretty user friendly, even though I'm definitely a novice at this. But as you can see, I'm adding a little Riverside tunes and beats, which is from them. It looks like I can add my own if I wanted to. It appears I could. But anyways, we did that. So what we did was and then I thought that the apocalypse of Adam was going to be multiple wasn't very short book. We got through that in one session. So let's start with the Pistis of Sophia. Should we take any more time, or we should get to it and I can zip it and we can share and we can go in now? Definitely. So there we go. Chapter 1. Okay, these chapters are pretty small. Okay. So far, right? Chapter 2. No, it's not totally small, because I thought this was chapter 2, but I guess this is verse 2. But here you go. Verse 1, 2. Okay. It came to pass when Jesus had risen from the dead, and he passed 11 years discoursing with his disciples. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you guys. Is that okay? Do that. That would be good for me too. And instructing them up to the regions of the first commandment, up to the regions of the first mystery, that within the veil, within the first commandment, which is the 4 and 20th mystery, without and below those 20 and those 4 and 20, which are the second space to the first mystery, which is before all mysteries, the Father in the form of a dove. And Jesus said to his disciples, I've come forth out of the first mystery, which is the last mystery, which is the 4 and 20th mystery. The disciples have made known. I got to drink something. I was talking, my tongue was stuck to the roof. Man, I said, I can't get these words out. Anything existing within the mystery, but they thought of the mystery, which is the head of the universe and the head of all existence, that they thought it is the completion of all completions. because Jesus had said to them concerning the mystery that it surrounded the first commandment, that the first impressions of the great light and the 5 helpers of the whole treasury of the moreover Jesus had not told the disciples. The total expansion of all the regions and the great invisible and the 3 triple powers and the 24 invisibles, that all the regions and their eons or aeons and their orders, how they were extended. Those which are the emanations, there's those emanations and the eons, right? That's the sense of where we came from. And they're ungenerated and they're self-generated and they're generated and they're light givers and they're unprepared and they're rulers and their authorities and their lords and their archangels and their angels and their decans and their servitors and all the houses of their spheres and all the orders of every one of them. And Jesus had not told the disciples about the total expansion of emanations of the treasury, nor their orders, how they are extended, nor had he told them of them their saviors, according to the order of every one, how they are, nor had he told every one of them what guard is at every gate of the treasury of light, nor had he told them the region of the twin Savior, who is the child of child, nor had he told them the regions of the 3 amens, and what regions they were expanded, nor had he told them into the legion of the 5 trees that are expanded, nor has the 7 amens. That is the 7 voices. And, we're talking 7 realms, maybe. What is the region, how they are expanded, and the expansions? Meaning there's expansion works. And this kind of reminds me of, as we unfold ourselves, as we're walking this path, it seems like we're unfolding ourselves to ourselves. We're expanding. We're expanding as we unfold ourselves to ourselves. It was, but it wasn't. It's almost these paradoxes keep coming out. The more he learns, the more he finds out he didn't tell him. Jesus had not told the disciples what types are the 5 helpers, nor into the region they are brought, nor had he told them about how the great light expanded itself, nor what region it had brought, nor had he told them about the 5 impressions, nor as to the first commandment into what region they've been brought. But he had discoursed them generally, teaching they exist, but he had not told them, or he had not broke down how they existed. This is what I'm kind of getting out of it. And them expansion and the order of the region, how they are. For this cause they have not known what there were also other regions within the mysteries. And he had told the disciples, I have gone forth out of the such and such regions until I've entered into that mystery. And until I went forth out of it, but in the teaching them, he said to them, I'm come forth from the mystery. For this cause, when they thought of that mystery, that is the completion of completions. That is the head of the universe, and it is the total fullness. Now, total fullness is pleroma. When we talk about coming, the pleroma is mentioned. That's what the word fullness means. For Jesus had said to his disciples, what mystery surrounded the mystery of which I have spoken unto you from the beginning, right? I've spoken unto you from the day when I met you, even unto this day. For this cause, when the disciples thought there was nothing within that mystery. So he hadn't broke down the revelation. They had not spoke to him about the deeper things. He had mentioned it. I could see that as almost going through an initiation, but had not broke the initiation, had not come forth. The knowledge hadn't came forth out of it. He told them this is what was happening, and this is the possibilities, but really hadn't broke down the initiation of what it was yet. That's kind of what I see there. Revelating with you, I've not read this before. Chapter 2. Make it a little bit bigger again. It's bigger I can. This can get some a lot of space. It came to the pass that the disciples were sitting together on the mountain Olives, speaking of the words and rejoicing in a great joy, exulting increasingly and saying one to another, blessed are we before all men who are on the earth, because the Savior hath revealed unto us and have received the fullness of the total completion. They said this to one another, while Jesus sat a little removed from them. And it came to pass that on the 15th day of the moon in the month of Tebet, which is a day in which the moon is full, and on that day when the sun had came forth in his going, there came forth behind him a great light power, shining most exceedingly, and there was no measure of light conjoined with it, for it came out of the light of lights. It came out of the last mystery, which is the 420th mystery, from within, without. Those which are in the order of the second space of the first mystery, notice the order, wow. And when the light power came down over Jesus and surrounded him entirely while he was seated, he removed from his disciples, and he had shone most exceedingly, though there was no measure of light which was on him. You know what's really funny, when I looked at this even earlier, and I think I read it in one of the other previous books, I think this was also in the Origin of the World, the 4 and 20. This is also in the book of Revelations, the 4 and 24 elders, it said, which I'm seeing this is definitely more a frequency, vibration, and light. It looks like of a higher realms, like it says here, right? Measure of the light. There's no measure of the light which was on him. And the disciples had not seen Jesus because of the great light which he was, or which was about him. For their eyes were darkened because of a great light which he was. That's kind of blinded by the light, right? They're not operating and seeing in that realm yet. It's mystery. It's a mist to them, it's darkness. When they saw only the light, which shot forth many light rays, and the light rays were not like one another, but the light was like different kinds. It was the divers types from below upwards, one ray from the most excellent than the other. The great immeasurable glory of the light, it was stretched from under the earth right up to heaven. When the disciples saw the light, they fell into great fear and great agitation. Make it big enough so you guys can see it, but not go out of the screen. Chapter 3. This then came to pass on the 15th day of the moon, on the day which is the full, this is full, in the month of Tibby. And when it came to pass, then Jesus had reached the heaven after 3 hours, that all the powers of heaven fell into the agitation, and were all set in motion one against another. That be the sword and division. See, when I really see the sword and division now, I was looking at it externally. He's dividing the ignorance, feminine and masculine. Now, because when it said in the Newer Testament that we see the version that we've got, the Rome version, I will see that, this is more division of people. It's part of the religious scheme. But this is, when I get this, it's not what it's seeing. It's the feminine of ignorance, the feminine of wisdom. It's the feminine, it's the male of wisdom, the male of, remember, Yada Bale copycatted. I mentioned that. He copycatted, but really didn't have the essence because he knew not of it, but he tried to copycat. That's what you can't copycat, because it's faking the funk. That's, I like using that word, faking the funk. So when I see that, that's what I kind of put it in there. And this is the division from the ignorance, or that seed, the ignorance to the wisdom fell in the motion one against another. Aeons and all their regions and all their orders, and the whole earth was agitated for they all who dwell therein. And all men who are in the world fell into agitation. And all the disciples and all thought the pre-adventure of the world will be rolled up. Wow, like a scroll. And all the powers in the heavens ceased not from their agitation. They and the whole world and all were moved against the other from the 3rd hour of the 15th day of the moon of Tibby until the 9th hour of the morrow. And all the angels and the archangels and all the powers of height. This is really going in depth into the higher realms. All sing praises to the interiors of the interiors, so that the whole world heard their voices without their ceasing till the 9th hour of the morrow. Make this It's a little bit bare, enough for us to see. Chapter 4. The disciples sat together in fear and were in exceedingly great agitation, and were afraid because of the great earthquake which took place. And they wept together, saying, what will then be? Peradventure the Savior will destroy all the regions. Thus saying, they kept together. While they said this and wept together, then on the 9th hour of the morrow the heavens opened up, and they saw Jesus descended, shining most exceedingly, and there is no measure of light which he was. He was shown more radiant than at the hour when they ascended up to the heavens, so that men in the world cannot describe the light which was on him. It shot forth rays in great abundance, and there was no measure for the rays. The light was not like all together, but it was kind of divers and different types of light, more excellent than the others, and the whole light consisted together. It was a threefold kind. The one kind was more excellent than the other. The second, that in the midst, was more excellent than which was below. And the third was above them all, was more excellent than the two which was below. The first glory which was placed below them was like the light which had come over Jesus before he had ascended into heaven, and was like only itself in light. And the three light molds were all divers kinds of light and types, one being more excellent than the other. These chapters are pretty small, very small. Look at this chapter is very small. And it came to pass when the disciples saw this, they feared exceedingly, were in agitation. Then Jesus, the compassionate, tender-hearted, when he saw his disciples were in great agitation, spake them, and saying, Take courage, it is I, be not afraid. 6th chapter. I guess I can go like this too. I can go next above. Okay. It came to pass then, when the disciples had heard the word, they had said, Lord, if this fit thou be, withdraw my light glory into myself. Wow. Withdraw my light glory into thyself, that he might be able to stand. Otherwise our eyes are darkened, and we were agitated, and the whole world also in agitation because of the great light which is about thee. Jesus withdrew himself the glory of his light. Then he was done. All the disciples took courage, stepped forward to Jesus, fell down altogether, adored him, rejoicing with great joy, and said to him, Rabbi, whether thou hast gone, or what was thy ministry, or what thou hast gone. Therefore, rather all the confusions and all the earthquakes which have taken place. Jesus, with compassion, said unto them, Rejoice and exult from this hour, for I have gone to the regions of which we read those early, which I have come forth. For this day, then I will discourse with you in openness. I'm from the beginning of the truth into the completion. I will discourse with you in face-to-face similitude. For this hour on, I will not hide anything from you of the mystery. Remember, he told them about it, but didn't explain it. Their initiation is going to start after he became full light. Wow, he went through the initiation himself to go full light, and then they had to see the full light, but it actually created agitation, which is a type of being barren. They had to be cleaned out. Wow. I'm kind of seeing something here. I'm kind of getting bits of this, kind of cleaned out so they can receive, because he said, now, why I think it's initiation, I will not hold anything back from you, meaning you went through this initiation, you went through this process. The beginning of I will discourse, I will not hide anything from you of the mystery of the height, right, and of the region of truth, for authority hath been given me throughout the infallible, through the first mystery of all mysteries, to speak into you from the beginning right up to the fullness, both from within without, within. Hearken therefore, that I may tell you all things. It came to pass then, I sat a little removed from you on the Mount of Olives, that I thought on the other side of the ministry, for the sake of which I have sent, that it was completed, and that the last ministry, which is the 24th mystery, from within without, those which are in the second space of the first ministry, in the orders of that space, had not yet sent me my vesture. Wow. vesture. That's heavy. That to me almost is going through this people in a certain aspect of this mystery. Definitely reminds me of going through an initiation. And it came to pass, so that because that'd be clothing. I definitely have to look up what that means. And when I had known the order of the ministry for the sake of which I'd come was completed, and that the mystery had not yet been sent to my vesture, which I had left behind in it until the time was completed. Thinking of this, I sat on the Mount of Olives until a little removed from you. He had to give them space. That's heavy. This is really heavy. Let me check our time. 7th chapter. Let me check our time. Time will be over here. We're at 23 minutes. We got some time. It came to pass when the sun rose in the east thereafter, then through the first mystery which existed from the beginning, on account of which the universe had risen, out of which I also myself now have come into the time before my crucifixion. But now it came to pass through the command of the ministry that there should be sent me my light vesture, which I got to look this up. I got to look up. I've always took it as clothing, but there's a symbolic meaning. I want to see what it is exactly, then see if I get the symbolism of it. If it resonates with me. Clothing, dress, man garbed in wisdom. I'm going to say that the vesture had to come from the wisdom of that place, which had given me from the beginning, which I had left behind in the last ministry. So the clothing for the next ministry that was brought from the last ministry had to be applied again. That's what I'm saying. Put back on. It represents knowledge, as we've seen out of what was the wisdom, what was in the Garden of Eden was they were naked because they didn't have their knowledge on. They were ignorant. Yada bail, right? They didn't have any recollection of where they came from, the forgetfulness, the amnesia. So the vesture represents getting out of the last ministry is your knowledge and wisdom, which with the vesture represents to me, I'm just kind of getting this now. I could be wrong. Anybody else, Patty or any of you others that are hearing this, if you know you got something, send it in the comments, put it in the comments when you hear this. Represents the knowledge and also the not having forgetfulness, no amnesia, deleted. You have to have the vesture. That's heavy. It's kind of what I'm thinking, but I could be wrong. But let's think about that. I could be onto something here. I had left behind right there, which is the 4 and 20th mystery from within, without. Those who are in the orders of the second space of the first mystery, that vesture, when I left behind in the last mystery, until the time should be completed to put on. I should begin the discourse of the race of men and reveal unto them all the beginning of truth, so its completion. And the discourse from which from with them from the interiors of the interiors of the interiors of the interiors, from the exteriors, or no, from the interiors to the exteriors to exteriors, just levels, to the interiors of the interiors, within, without. Rejoice, then exalt and rejoice more and more greatly, for to you it is given that I speak with you from the beginning of truth to its completion. For this cause I've chosen you verily from the beginning through the first mystery. Rejoice, then exult. For when I set out of the world, I brought from the beginning with me 12 powers. Have I told you from the beginning, which I've taken from the 12 saviors of the treasury of light. Treasury is abundance or money or protection, right? Treasury of light. It's a treasury of light. And he says there's 12 of them. According to the command of the first mystery, these, when I cast in the womb of your mothers, when I came into the world, that is those that are, see if I can make that a little smaller. Your mothers, then I came into the world, that is those which are in your bodies today. For those powers have given unto you before the whole world, because ye are they who will save the world. Wow. That you may be able to endure the threat of the rulers of the world and pains of the world and its dangers and its persecutions, and which the rulers of the height will bring upon you. For many times I have said unto you that I have brought forth power in you and out of the 12 saviors, who are the treasury of light, for which cause I have said unto you indeed from the beginning that they are not of the world. Wow. We're not. This makes so much sense. I also am not of it. For all men who are of the world have their souls out of the power of the rulers of the aeons. But the power which is in you from me, your souls belong to the height. I have brought 12 powers of 12 saviors of the treasury of light, taking them out of the portion of my power, inheritance. I did first receive, and when I set forth out of the world, I came into the midst of the rulers of the sphere and had the form of Gabriel, angel of Eon. The rulers of eons did not know me, but they thought I was the angel Gabriel. It came to pass then when I come unto the midst of the rulers of the eons, then I took down the world of mankind by the command of the first mystery. I found Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, before she had conceived him, and I sowed into her a power which I received from little Eo, the good, who is the mist, that he might be able to make proclamation before me and make ready my way, baptize him with the water of forgiveness of sins. The power of this is the body of John. Over in the place of the soul, the ruler, he was appointed to receive. I found the soul of the prophet Elias in the eons of the sphere and took him thence, and took a high soul, brought it to the Virgin of Light. She gave it over to her receivers, and they brought it to the sphere of the rulers and cast it in the womb of Elizabeth. So the power of the little Io, who is the midst, and the sole prophet Elias, they were bound into the body of John the Baptist. For this cause they were in doubt aforetime. When I said unto you, John said, I am not the one that maketh ready. I am not the one Christ, that you may said unto me, it standeth written in the scripture, when Christ shall come, Elias come before him to make it ready his path, to maketh ready his path, or his way. And when you said unto me, I said unto you, Elias verily is come, and hath made ready all things as it standeth written. And they have done unto him as they would. And when I knew that ye had not understood that I had discoursed with you concerning the soul of Elias, which is bound into the John the Baptizer, I answered you in a discourse of openness to face. If you like, if to accept John the Baptizer, he is Elias, Elijah, whom I have said will come. 8. Let's check the time. Let's definitely check the time. I wish I could. This would move here, but wow, back. This is heavy, very heavy. So we're in 8. We're in 8. We'll get 8, and I don't know how 8 small. I'll get through 8, and we'll be done for this one. This is heavy. And Jesus continued again in the discourse and said, it came to pass then hereafter that at the command of the first mystery, I looked down on the world of mankind and found Mary, who is called by my mother according to the body of matter. I spoke with her in a type of Gabriel. When she had turned herself height towards me, height, up, standing straight, upper, right? I cast thence into her the first power which I received from Barbello, and that goes back into the other Barbello, the thought and afterthought. That is the body which I have borne in the height. Instead of the soul, I cast into her the power which I received from the great Sabbath, the good, who is the region of the right, and the 12 powers of the 12 saviors of the treasury of light, right? The treasury of light which I received from the 12 ministers of the mist, in the midst of the mist, from the 12 ministers of the mist, and we talked about the mist. I came in the sphere of the rulers, and the deacons of the rulers and their servitors thought they were souls of the rulers. The servitors brought them, they bound them into the body of your mothers, and when your time was compelled, you were born into a world without souls of the rulers in you. And ye have received your portion out of the power which is the last helper, had breathed into the mixture and the power which is blended with all the invisibles, all the rulers, all the ions, in a word which is blended with the world of destruction which is in the mixture. This power which from the beginning I brought out of myself, I have casted it into the first commandment. The first commandment cast a portion thereof into the great light. The great light cast a portion of that which it had received into the five helpers. The last helper took a portion of that which he had received and cast it into the mixture. And this portion is all who are in the mixture, as I've said unto you. Then Jesus said to the disciples on the Mount of Olives, Jesus continued again in the disclosure from this disciples had said, rejoice, exalt, and add joy to your joy. And for the times are completed for me to put on my vesture, which is next level. You have to be clothed with the vesture, which is knowledge, which had been prepared for me from the beginning, which I left behind in the last ministry until the time of the completion. Now the time of the completion is the time which I shall be commanded through the first ministry to discourse from you the beginning of truth to the completion thereof, and from the interiors of the interiors to the exteriors of the exteriors, for the world will be saved through you. Rejoice then, exult, for you are blessed before all men who are the earth, that you who will save the whole world. This is heavy because this is that saving the whole world is heavy because that's kind of what we would say in the kingdom message was that. So I'm going to go out of here. Perfect, 35 minutes. This is a lot of book, but the chapters, some are that. It's got deep. It's got my attention. It's got my attention. It definitely has got my attention. Definitely, and feeling it. Definitely feeling this book. Makes sense. A lot of depth in there. Some of the stuff I'm trying to still even put together in what maybe what it means. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to let me do it after this. I'm just trying to put my power on because I did 3 videos and I see my battery's kind of getting low. But this was excellent. I dug it. And I know my listeners out there dug it. For all you guys that were part of this and part of this, I'm going to give you guys some praise. You guys definitely deserve this from the higher states of being. Let's get you some claps. Next level. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys for being part of this. Definitely. This was good. This was next level. And I like it. And I'll close with this. We got through that 8th chapter. 8, which was a key number in here, going from the 7th to the 8th, right? Even going to the 12th. But that 8th had definitely had a line. When I noticed that we were going through the 8th, it hit me as I was reading. Oh, this is perfect. It's definitely connected. You guys have a great day. Definitely, I'm going to put up here, please, if you can. I've actually added some money into this program. I have to pay for it every month. Definitely, times are hard, but definitely it's my heart and soul to help them who want to help themselves and wake up and do the work. Because, man, when we're connected like this spiritually and we're on that, seeing that, because there's some, consciousness is a very different degree. Some people aren't like, if I can use an example, we're on third are on 6th grade. Some are on 10th grade. They're not to the same degree, but they are getting there. They're on a degree, especially when you go through the process of waking up. And a lot of these youngsters are waking up fast who haven't did this as long as some of us, but their ascensions are happening fast. So you guys have a great day.